Hello, welcome to Bellator Christus. Today I'm reviewing the book by Rick Barrett, The Catholic Case for Owning Guns and Self-Defense, which is a much needed topic in today's world considering our history is so full of military conflict as well as personal conflict. It is no doubt that we live in a fallen world and we have to sometimes deal with unjust aggressors, and sometimes things go down to the point where we have to lay down the law, and that means sometimes a lot of people die. Sometimes that means accidental death, even though that may not be the intention. Anyway, uh, this book is a fairly short book. It's only about 7 chapters. I would say the heart of the book is chapters 4 through 6, where he has the most meat and the most intricate details about papal encyclicals, papal quotes, councils, catechisms, scripture quotes, things like that. And it's to the point. It is accurate, and it spans the test of stretched time. So it's not relying so much on one particular era of the church's past, but it is for centuries. It is beyond. I mean, it goes back to Augustine's just war theory, and even touches a little bit on Summa Theologica by Thomas Aquinas. The book is easy to read. I read it in like 2 hours at the laundromat, and my only really critique of the book is I felt like I was reading Morse code behind enemy lines in World War II, and the font size. Outside of that, the book is pretty top notch. I wish it was a little thicker with more information, but this book is not meant to be used as a it's not meant to be used as the Bible or anything, or to use it like front to back, back to front kind of thing. No, it's more of a reference guidebook. It's more like an encyclopedia usage. You don't just sit down and read the whole encyclopedia. You actually look up a word or a topic, and you get to the point and you find out the definitions, right? So basically, I would say this, in this age where Catholic men are very silent on this issue, in this modern issue of guns and self-defense and martyrdom and justified duty and just cause for dealing with sin and unjust aggressors, and preservation of life. It's a good book to read. It's a good book to have on hand, because I think Catholic men need to be speaking up about this. Now, usually in the traditional groups, it's more prevalent that they are okay with guns and things like that. But in the more newer mass folks are the ones that kind of steer away from this kind of topic, and it's something that they need to have a real thorough sit down with, and actually wrestle with this topic, and actually get somewhere with it, because we're living in changing times, and Catholic men need to be men again, and actually defend their society, defend their home, defend their church, defend their places of work and business, and help rebuild Christendom. That's kind of what we need to do. That is what we need to do. And men 1,000 years ago fought for the faith. They fought to preserve society. yeah, you could say the Crusades were something like, you know, prolonged 200 years and, a series of failures. But really, if you look at it, the failure to take the Holy Land bought Western Europe enough time to expand and to grow and to thrive culturally, as but also as overall civilization. So even though the Crusades had failures as well as successes, the fighting men who poured their blood for the love of their neighbor gave a foundation of protection for Western civilization, namely the Western civilization, which is what the Catholic Church has made, right? So it's something deep within our cultural heritage, deep within our sacred tradition, and within Scripture. You can't get around this subject. It's so primitive to man's nature to provide, to protect, and to govern in our own households and our societies. That this book needs to have men talk about this openly and not be afraid of this topic, because I feel like in the Novus Ordo world, too many Catholics are afraid to speak on this topic. And I'm pretty sure Rick Barrett would actually agree on this topic as well. Overall, Mr. Barrett, if you are listening to this video, this is a pretty good book. My only critique would be, I'm not sure if he did this deliberately, because I did not read, to be honest, I did not read the introduction fully. My only critique would be is to make the font size a little bit bigger and not make it look like you're in a World War II distress code behind enemy line situation. Then again, I understand why you made it that small, because money and paper and resources, things like that. It's cheaper, print fewer pages and more pages. I understand that. So outside of that, I think that's my real only critique of the book is the fonts. Yeah. I guess my second critique is there. I wish there was more in there, because I feel like this is such a vast subject, and he hits just the tip of the iceberg with this topic. It's just so much grander than both he and I probably even realize. And I would even argue that it is a pro-life issue to some extent. The preservation of society. While it can take life, it can also protect life. And it's a two-edged sword. So this is a good book, or highly recommended. You'll get through it in a day. You get through it in a couple hours. You get through it in a lunch break. If you take a long lunch break, or if you're a fast reader, you'll get through it fairly quickly. So congratulations, Rick, on the book, and God bless.